I was not even going to go on today. I was like, I'll go on later. I'm like, I'll go on after I eat. And 30 some other things. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go on because I got to get this page done. For this chapter. And what better way to do it than here live with you? Actually, I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways, but you know what I'm saying. Seriously. And right as I get on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Nothing's going to stop me. Landscapers just pulled up and they're ready there. They're getting weed whackers and blowers out, so this is going to get a little noisy. Got some bread that was made last night. My wife made some. Get it all over me. Paschetti and meatballs. Not meatballs. Meat sauce, gravy. I said, let's not eat all the gravy. I want some for my ravioli. You got dunk bread. Now, here's the problem with my plan. I'm still working on my first cup of coffee. So, we got to figure this out, you know? So I want to finish this chapter here. I also want to keep eating. So I want to keep eating and dropping it all over me. Since I'm not Irish, this is what I'm eating. Okay. Weed eater, how dare they? I know, right? I always say, I'm like, why do we have this? There's nothing going out. There's nothing going on out there. But it's like the yearly service, and I sure as heck ain't doing it. So they'll come in and they'll do. He does the edging, and then the other guy will blow everything off. Hi, back to you, Lorraine. Glad you're here. I almost wasn't here. It's like, I don't want to do this. I got to eat, and I'm got it. I'm like, you know what? I really want to play my new baseball game, but then I'm like, I need to work. You work while I avoid it. Listen, in all fair, we can't all be working. I mean, what happens? That nobody has a good time? No. I work so you don't have to today, Lorraine. You're welcome. There's Keith. And then Chad dropped in after. Lorraine's like, first again, Chad. Then it happened twice. I'm like, Chad. Oh, there's Chad. Chad in the house. Chad, I watched that Harley Flanagan thing yesterday. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Then I was listening to some Cro-Mags this morning while I wrote. But instead, I slept in till almost 10 o'clock. Like I says, I take my wins when I can get them, Chad. Exactly. Just the human pup. Yeah, the human pitbull. I didn't realize watching that as a 12-year-old drumming for the stimulator how creepy he looked. He looked maniacal. He says, Chad, please tell us again how good the accused is. Well, we're starting on him already. Good times. I think the one main thing that Lorraine has gotten out of hanging out with us is that there's a band Chad likes called The Accused. Should have made another cup of coffee. At some point, I'm going to have to make another cup of coffee. I am at 3,010 hours now. 3,010. So less than 1,000 to go. We're in the 75% percentile. So everybody watching all my videos, commenting on them, keep going. Appreciate it. Yep. If it keeps projecting the way my wife looked at it by this time in April, about a month from now, I will hit my 4,000 if you guys continue to help me. So I appreciate all the help. Chad says it's not just that they're good, but they help pioneer crossover thrash arm in arm with DRI and Cryptic Slaughter. He said, DRI? Go on. As you know, Chad, I'm not a big fan of The Accused. There's just something missing. I love DRI. Love them. And Cryptic Slaughter. Cryptic Slaughter is what it is. You just put it on and you just listen to the speed for the sake of speed. Lorraine said, you're here in my house on some screen most of the day. My husband thinks I'm crazy. Well, he already thought that. So. Chess says, The Accused just played last week with DRI in Chile. You gotta say it like that, Chile. What does DRI stand for? Don't tell him, Chad. Don't tell him. DRI played here's some little club not too long ago. Not with The Accused, though. Who am I? DRI. He says, Lorraine, I tried the accused and cryptic slaughter and will never take another suggestion from Chad again. probably, a, probably a good move. Oh, this girl's the girl with the dog that we see all the time. She's got her winter coat on. She's got furry boots on. She's got a scarf. It's 47 degrees, so you think it was 47 below the way she's out here. Lorraine says, "How well noted." Lorraine says, "Chad, what do you have to say in your defense?" Chad says, "That's not fair. I never actually suggested them to anyone." Yeah, but it was the suggestion, you see, of you talking about him all the time. And now they're gone. It was a subliminal suggestion in Neon Owl, exactly. Guess they're not gone because I hear the guy out back with the blower. So I'm guessing the other guy just moved the truck down the street to wherever their next thing is. Brent said, "Oh, so after reading it, I'll understand." Chet says, "And in my defense, my stereo plays more Steely Dan, synthwave, Sade, jazz, and yacht rock than anything else. I'm 56, so not quite as angsty as I used to be." Yeah, I agree with that. What's some of your favorite bands? And I'm like, Iron Maiden. Hey, listen to a lot of Iron Maiden? Nah, I don't listen to that. I haven't listened to them in years. Really. Who are you listening to? I don't know. Billy Squire. Billy from the 80s? I'm like, yeah, I love Billy Squire. What you listen to? Bowling for Soup? Like Bowling for Soup? I think from the 90s. He's always bringing up bands I've never even heard of. I know Chad's doing it. Gunship, Time Cop, FM 84. I don't even know what year you guys are even saying. And I'm fine with that. And he says, "What's yacht rock?" Silly Dan and Sade, those work. Chaz says, "Yacht rock is a bad title given to easy listening music from the 70s. Yeah. Gunship got John Carpenter to open one of their songs. I'm sure I'll still hate it. Rain said, "Oh, God, dust in the wind kind of stuff." They also did a song with the sax player from the Lost Boys. You're not making me. You're making me even less intrigued. So they're trying for a gimmick. They're trying for a hook because their songs are bad. That's all I'm hearing. I don't know. They might be great. I know, very hurtful. I get it. Lorraine loved the Lost Boys movies back in the day. Great movie. because I haven't seen it in 40 years or whatever. That seems to me to be one of those movies that I would not want to watch at 56, because you might lose something. Or you might watch and go, man, this dialogue is awful, or man, this plot, you can run a truck through the plot holes, whatever. And I'm not saying it does that. I'm just saying the fear is always something that you loved back in the day, and you're like, like watching The Warriors again. Me and my brother watched that movie, I don't know, 400 times when we were kids. HBO played it constantly, and we watched it. Then years later, I was dating somebody, and they had never seen it, and they were like, I would love to watch it. And we watched it, and I'm like, well, it was good. It wasn't as great as I remember it. Like if I had watched that in my 20s, I would be like, yeah, that was all right. He says, Lauren, listen to Dark All Day by Gunship if you have Spotify. Warrior still holds up. Yeah, but it's not as great as 12-year-old me thought it was. It's good. It's still a good movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie at all. At all. I'm just saying it loses something in translation as I got older. That's all I'm saying. You say it still holds up. Have you watched it in the last 10 years? You watched it in the last 3. So then, okay, then your point for you is valid. YouTube might have the video, Keith. We don't know. We have no idea. Animated vampire vid with the frog bite. You're not making this me want to watch this or listen to this at all. Because the second draft for Picasso Trigger is taking longer than expected, but I'm happy with it so far considering how bad the movie is. Are you having to edit a lot of it? Change anything? Chad says, that's progress, Chad. Little pat on the back from Chad. I used to be on Alignable a lot. I don't know if you guys know that, Alignable. And they would it was good, some good connections. I was actually able to get some readers on there, some other writers and everything, and now it's literally all AI spam people. I don't think I've gotten a real actual person in, I don't know, 6 months. I'm getting tons of friend requests there. and every single one of them is more or less about um, how they can help me with my book stuff. Chess says, I'm adding things here and there, cleaning stuff up. There are so many plot holes and bad edits that I had to make things make sense. That's been the biggest challenge. You don't want to make it to make too much sense, though, because then the people who love the movie for some reason will be like, yeah, this made too much sense. I am going to write today, though, people. I can feel it in my bones. Feel it pulsing through my blood. I mean, not right this very second. I mean, come on. Chess says, Clive Barker shot me an email this morning. He told me he'd written 365 books and wants to read one of mine. Won't be long now, and I'll be fit. You know what? Yeah. I love when Clive Barker sends you a message. He's like, I love your work. Are you on Amazon? Where'd you read my work then? Huh? Clive? Ocha, they always say the book is always better, even in reverse engineering. Yeah. Although it sounds like it probably couldn't be any worse from what he's telling us about the movie. Do you have a deadline on that, Chad? Okay, there's a certain day they need that book back so they can start selling it like crazy. I would imagine there's a market for it because I keep seeing people writing these books. The big thing in romance books right now is hockey romance, either male with the players going at it, or some innocent little girl and she's basically taking on the whole hockey team. All kinds of stuff going on in the world of hockey romance. I'm so old though. I got to take a pill. I got to make more coffee, another cup of coffee, and take a pill. Chill pill. Just says no deadline. Matter of fact, I emailed the publisher a few days ago and told them I was starting the second draft and I hope to have it to them in a week or so. They said, holy shit, that's fast. What's up, Matthew? There's a guy who married one of my wife's cousins. Name's Matthew, but with one T. So I always say Matt who. I guess it would be Matthew. Now we're getting into the we want to interview you on on our radio show. Now I'm getting a lot of these now today. Several, in fact. And they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we'll do a quick interview with you, but for the $499 package, we'll do this, this, and this, and maybe this, a couple of these." Oh my goodness! The BBC Asian Network wants to promote one of my books. The chat keeps censoring my comment, telling you to watch the Picasso. Now both your messages were retracted before I could even read them. I don't know what's going on. Chat keeps censoring my comment, telling you to watch the Picasso Trigger trailer. Yeah, you don't say trailer is a very bad word. Just since how long have I been on? 27 minutes. I've gotten 18 spam messages I've gone through so far in my emails. I mean, most of this is the book newsletters or Substack. One guy, I forget his name, I had to actually stop. I actually had to unfollow him because he's like, "Here's my latest," and he sent like 7 emails or 7 Substack things in a row on it, like all within like an hour. And I'm like, I don't want to be bombarded. Send one. And it's basically the same thing. He just changed it up a little bit. I'm like, what are you doing? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L testing on this? Stop. I did edit that story. I hope you are. I was gonna say, I hope you're happy with it, but I hope you're as happy as can be, because you're never really happy with everything. It's like as quick as I'm getting rid of crap, I'm getting more crap. I mean, I don't get as much as a certain somebody that we talk about a lot. About 4,000 emails. I'm like, yeah, and 5 of them are probably something you should probably answer. Because I can get 4,000 emails too in a couple of days if I don't check my mail. Or if I'm not immediately deleting stuff. Charlie in the house as well. Keith says we're doing. Right, says, I was afraid you took offense to my opinion, Matthew. The problem here too is I'm like, I don't want to. Like, oh, I'm under 100 emails. All right, that's good enough. And I'm doing all the new ones first, which is probably not good because I'm sure there's stuff in here I've missed. And I think the cat's thrown up again. Because she eats her food so fast. Because she sees me eating so fast. And she's like, well, that's the way to do it. Chet says 4K emails, 3,800 of them are results from what kind of Batman am I? Exactly. He would always brag about, I got over 4,000 emails I got to go through. So if I don't get right back to you, I'm like, or you go through your email list and you find the ones that are actual emails from people and not just random dumb things. Like he acts like, oh, I got 4,000 legitimate emails I have to go through. No, you don't, buddy. And I don't know how many people believe it. I guess enough people believe it. You keep saying stuff like that. Shut up. Charlene Harris just sent me a message. Yeah, I've gotten like 6 come on our radio show ones. So I guess that's the new one to look forward to. Lorraine says, only when I get ghosted. Because Keith said we have to collectively work on Lorraine's self-esteem. I missed a bunch here. There's one book club that was asking me to donate money to them just for them to read and review my last book. Yeah, Matthew, I get like 7 of those a day. It's ridiculous. Matthew said, why would I take offense? I'm not an amateur. Keith says we have to collectively work on Lorraine's self-esteem. There's Chad's message about 4K emails. Lorraine says, only want to get ghosted. Chad says, a man in high demand. We need him to save the women and the marginalized. If he doesn't do it, who will? That other guy. Lorraine says, I'm hearing that a lot today, Keith. Keith says, well, start listening, Lorraine. You should have done that in all caps. Would have been better. Chad says, Lorraine is just polite. She doesn't want to offend. It's what ladies do. Matthew says, hey, at least when I asked about joining me on my podcast, I appealed to you directly. And also, you have an actual podcast. And you also didn't go, hey, be on my podcast and then give me $299. It sucks, though, because I'm sure people that are actually legit are probably having a hard time, just like, the cold call to people to come on their podcast. Ryan says, what? Now she's offended. I don't know. I'm going to clean up my eyebrows again. Getting a little wonky. Matt says, actually, that's why after 3 years I had to hang up, because trying to get people got harder and harder. Yeah. That's why I stopped doing interviews on here. I thought, I did a bunch of them. I thought, oh, you know what? This is going to be cool. I'm going to do a bunch of crime thriller authors and before BoucherCon, and then we're all going to hang out, which we did. I met a lot of people, and I'm glad I did it. But after a while, it was pulling teeth, trying to get legitimate people that actually want to come on and talk for 20 minutes. Like, why am I wasting all this time and energy? Time is money. Or as Billy Crystal said in Spinal Tap, mime is money. AB Fuchs has a playlist of him reading his stories. Have you thought about doing something like that? No, I don't want to do that. I don't do readings at conventions. And most of the research I've done, and it varies from person to person. I'm not going to say if it's working for him, it's working for him. The people that I have studied, the people that I have been following, and apparently doing well because I'm kicking ass since November. Basically, you're saying that those are just, if you want to just add content, but you're not going to get a ton of views on those, and you're not going to get any return views on any of those. So I don't see I have more than enough other stuff between the coffee videos, between these videos, between my Wednesday and Sunday thing. So I don't think it's really, I don't think it moves the needle, and I need to just move the needle. Chad says, I stopped doing my podcast because I was picky with the guests I'd have on. and the list was dwindling. Yeah, that's the other problem. I just don't want to have like anybody. And the couple times I've had just random people on, like, that might be good. Either they don't show up, or I've had issues, or I had a couple people like, well, no, I didn't like that interview. So one of them's like, can we redo it? And the other one's like, yeah, I just don't want that on there. I'm like, hey, thanks for wasting all my time. He says, yeah, he told me he only has 500 hours. Right. So at some point, you look at that and you go, this is not working. And I need to figure out something else that's going to make my channel work. If you're looking to monetize, if you're looking to another payment coming in, then that's, you need to go, this is not the thing. For instance, most podcasts look awkward unless the guest and host are both entertaining. Yeah, and that's the pain. I know I'm entertaining. I know I'm damn entertaining. But yeah, you get some guests that are just boring. You get guests that are like yes and no answers. So you have a new book out. Yes. Tell me about the book. It's a crime thriller. The name is Chadlutsky Wrote Neon Owl. Can you tell me anything else about the book? Like that, I'm like, oh my God, this is pulling teeth. Chet says, not all of us are Bob Ford reading stories aloud like a magical book. Yeah, Bob is phenomenal. Bob, I would go to his readings, but I was like, I don't want to do readings. And Bob would always say to me, you're gonna do this. I'm gonna help you where you're gonna do this. And I would say, Bob, love you to death. No, I don't want to do it. Like Keen, when he was doing, Scares of Care, he would always go, okay, I'm gonna put you on a match you with, who do you want to be matched with? I was like, nobody. Don't put me on that list. I do not want to read. Right, says, guess I can only watch comedians. Hey, you got Frank Edler in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Keith, that butt crack is coming very soon, Keith, because I'm going to need some coffee. Right, says, yes, sir, you are damn entertaining and damn good looking. Matthew said, at least I had good questions. Yeah, we had a conversation. That's the thing, to have a conversation with somebody and to have the back and forth. You don't want the guest to just talk and talk and talk. I did a podcast years and years ago with Mark Tufo called Arm and Tooth. And we had a clothing designer from from Hollywood on. And literally, he just started telling stories. And an hour later, we were like, hey, thanks. I had to cut him off. Hey, thanks for coming on. We're running out of time, but I appreciate everything. He just went on and on about it. When he's doing Buck Rogers TV show, and he was just telling story after story, and some of them were interesting, most of them were not. He was an older gentleman, and he literally did not take a breath. And then afterwards, Mark was like, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know, but I guess we'll put it up. And everybody's saying hi to Frank now. Chad says, I love Bob. Frank says, in the rear with the gear. Right, so I thought Armand said Charlie was here. Did I hear that wrong? No, Charlie was here. He probably is getting mauled by a giraffe herd or pack or whatever the giraffes call them when they gang up on you. Giraffe attack. There is an art to doing those live readings, though. I just don't think I possess that acting ability. A pack of giraffes is called a stretch. That does make sense. Here's my problem with doing the live readings too. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'll just be reading and I'll be like, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden my brain's like, are you still talking out loud? Like, are you reading to yourself right now? Are you droning? Like what's? And then I lose everything. Charlie says I had to make a couple of calls. I'm back. He's like, get these giraffes away from me. Somebody better get down here with a stun gun. I said, yeah, I don't think my own voice is good enough for radio. I think mine is. I was on radio. Frank Edler remembers when I was on the radio. I don't miss that. I don't miss all that work. Chess says, is it legal to pump your own gas in Jersey if you have 4,000 unanswered emails? No, I think that also is not. Frank's got a good radio voice. Frank does have a good radio voice. I enjoyed Frank when Frank had his podcast, which is how we met. We met because he had his podcast. And then I would go on there and say things I wasn't supposed to be talking about. That was a good podcast. I wish Frank would get, not to the Bazan garbage, I wish Frank would get back to, not that he has to, or it actually would work. I'd like to see Frank with a YouTube channel. On the Mexico Whoa Radio. Radio. Keith says, I'd rather be writing than make a channel of my own. Which, you know what? As long as you have that understanding, that's good. Because you don't want to do it just to do it. Chad says he agrees. Charlie remembers Bazan. Nobody listens to author interview podcasts anymore. Well, that's part of the problem. I don't know who's really listening to a ton of podcasts anymore. Like we've kind of stepped away from that, haven't we? Maybe, I don't know. I don't listen to any podcasts anymore. Like any of them. There's some of them I'm like, oh, I remember that podcast. They apparently don't do anymore. I did like doing the actual when I was doing my my music radio show on a Friday night. I did enjoy that, picking some random songs. But then once the station was needed to be fully compliant with the FCC, and Vern was like, all right, here, look. So I went through your each DJ would have a group of their songs that were loaded into the system. And he's like, I went through your songs and I had to delete like, I don't know, 87 songs. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you can't play. I don't want you playing Steel Panther. I'm like, I got like the radio edit ones. He's like, no. There's still all the sexual innuendos. He's like, and you can't play Overkill anymore. You play too much Overkill. He's like, I need like Poison, I need Cinderella, I need Warrant, stuff like that. No more Wasp. He's like, and only the hits. I need the hits from those bands. Don't do deep cuts. And I'm like, well, this seems boring, and this is an hour and a half driving in the middle of the night, and I'm starting to not be able to see because I'm getting old. So I think this is when I call it quits, buddy. He says, I can say just because you have amazing people that a lot of people would show up for does not mean people will show up and listen. Lorraine says, love that running gas gag, Chad. Chad says, one of my podcasts was part of Armand's Project Entertainment Network. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. The doing that was not doing that was just was a lot, way too much work. It's like wrangling cats. He says, I like having a channel and writing, and that is a problem. There's Nick Zinn, and he's back. Driving to the library, so only ears, no touchy. Yeah, hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, or whatever the new rule is. What's the new rule? 9 and 3 or something? What's the new rule? 5:30, 8:30? I don't know. I showed Shelly the picture of Nick's girlfriend, and she's like, and I said that it's Photoshop, right? She's like, yeah, there's not a person in that picture. The kid just lies. Shayna Shayna Dahmer just sent me a thing. They'd like to invite me to a stress-free online spotlight featuring your book. No, Mrs. Dahmer, no. For many, many reasons. I'm not even going to say that. That's awful. Don't say that. Oh, restaurant inspections. I always like looking at these, not like most of the time. I'm like, I don't know where this is. "121 restaurants in Duval County did not pass the first inspection." That's a lot of 121 restaurants. That's a lot of restaurants. Do not go to Zebo's Crab Shack on Beaver Street. Or the Starbucks on Jack's Beach Pier. Do not eat at the Neon Owl. Just stripper hair in your food. I used to hate that when they would come in Dollar General because we'd have the coolers and stuff, and you'd have to get the inspector come in and he would test everything. I'm like, it's in a cooler. We're not making food. I remember that guy in Daytona Beach was like a real jerk about it too. I'm thinking, dude, you're looking at calm down. You ain't saving lives. Oh, you need to watch this cooler. It's 1 degree under, like so. Then it's good. Yeah, but you want it to ideally be like three under, whatever it was. Okay, but it's one that's it's good. It's in the range it's supposed to be, right? It's not above that, so we're good. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you a verbal warning on this. Okay, whatever. Yeah, there's Beaver Street here in Jacksonville. Half of Beaver Street is car dealerships, and the other is where you go to buy meth. Frank says, can't find good services. No, you really can't. Yeah, on the sidewalk, Frank. Chad says, I normally don't pimp my own channels here. Too busy pimping the accused, Joe Lansdale. But my short-lived podcast, Bleeding Page Podcast, is very helpful for writers in any genre. Armin was one of our guests who spilled a wealth of knowledge. Mr. Frank, I'm not saying that. Frank says Bleeding Page was tight, especially the interview with me. That might have been the high point for literally for everyone. Literally everyone. Once again, today I'm not getting a lot of writing done. I don't think I'm going 2 hours though, people. I'm just letting you know now. I might hit the hour on this one today, but I'm just not feeling it. Just not feeling it. Plus, I think the Red Sox game is on MLB Network. Hmm. Matthews, I'm a step out. It was nice seeing everyone. I'm going to revise an older book I pulled from the market. Good luck with that. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for watching videos. And hopefully we will see you tomorrow. Frank says the interview with you said, yeah. Yeah, Diamond. Yeah, Diamond. You thank your mom for being Irish. So I sent my aunt Kim, her sister, a message today on Facebook, and I said, "Happy Saint." Oh no, it's just Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And then she sent back with little shamrocks and said, "Happy St. Patrick's Day." Then I called my mom, and she said, "Oh, I'm making my corned beef and cabbage." I'm like, "Why? You're Welsh and English." She's like, "Shut up, f you. I'm Irish." I'm like, "You're not Irish." She's like, "I'm wearing all green today." I said, "I'm not wearing green today." You know why? Because I've been lied to my whole life and told I was Irish. And guess what? I'm not Irish. She's like, "That test was wrong." I'm like, "No, that test captures serial killers. It's not wrong. You're wrong." And says, "Oh, I forgot to say St. Patrick's Day. My Irish ancestors will be ashamed." Very much, Lorraine, especially if you actually are Irish. Although they say what? Everyone is Irish today. I know my wife will spend the day in late tonight at her mother's. That's where she does on Tuesday, every Tuesday. And I know Jess is over there making corned beef and cabbage. And Shelley's like, I don't eat cabbage. Chess says a lot of guests were self-publishers making it work and giving advice like Dan Padavona, Travis Baldry, Legends and Lattes, Jay Thorne, Keelan also had Mallerman and Lansdale and others. Frank says, aren't we supposed to lament the Irish as a bunch of racists and celebrate the marginalized snakes who are not allowed to live freely on the Emerald Isle? You got a point. Frank says, I've got a fair bit of Irish in me. Would you like some Italian in you? Get it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's a lady present. Ugh, what are you doing? Luck be a lady tonight. For instance, plenty of Matthews in my family tree. I am a cad. I am a cad. So here's what I'm thinking. Do I go and make myself another cup of coffee? Or do I just call it a day at the hour mark? Just going back and forth, back and forth. Chaz says, me mom says I have a wee bit of Irish in me as well. And by that I mean computer animated drawing. Well, yeah, obviously. I know what all the cool kids are saying. Charlie says, might as well make coffee, right? All right, so I'm gonna step out, show Keith my butt crack, and make another cup of coffee, and also get a new snack. You ready, Keith? There you go, Keith. You're welcome. I picked a random coffee flavor from the flavored coffee thing. Didn't even look at it, just popped it in, boom. I knew immediately it was blueberry. Blueberry. Keith says, if you have coffee now, will affect your sleep tonight? Never. I can literally have a cup of coffee at midnight and go right to sleep. It does not bother me at all, except if I don't have coffee within like an hour of waking up, then I get a tremendous headache. And I'm on the new Rebelsis. I started the new Rebelsis today. And so you got to take it and wait a half an hour before you can eat or drink anything. And so I was starting to get a little nauseous, and I'm like, oh, here we go. But then once I had my coffee, then I was fine. He says, woot. Chaz says, I use Irish Spring soap and deodorant. Oh, well, you are Irish. You're all a lively bunch today, Lorraine says. Lorraine's not wrong. Chad looks like he knows his way around a shillelagh. Lorraine says, good combo to keep deer out of your yard, Chad. It supposedly keeps them from eating shrubs. So you're telling me Chad wearing Irish Spring deodorant and washing with it, there's no deer are going to be in his yard? That makes sense. Chad says, be right back Googling shillelagh. I wonder what kind of viscosity he's getting. Chad says, I do know my way around a shillelagh, but I call it a wizard's staff. Lorraine says, thanks for doing that. Googling Frank's word, that is. So this is what I'm eating. Here's my snack. My wife got mad at me. I'm going to tell you a little story. Story time, Nick. Nick loves my stories. I told this story already that I had $200 Visa, $50 Visa gift cards. We're putting all of our gift cards together, trying to figure out restaurants and stuff. We got like a stack. It's like this big stack of restaurants and stuff, gift cards. And so my wife says, oh, I have 2 Amazon gift cards. I'm like, give me those gift cards. I'll use them. She's like, I'll use them too. I was like, what I want them. She's like, I'll trade you these 2 Amazon for those 2 Visa ones. I'm like, fine. I don't even know how to use these Visa ones anyway. So I give them to her, $100 of that, and she gives me $50 back. And I'm like, well, that's half of. She's like, do you want it or not? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I know I can just put the Visa ones probably on Amazon, but I'm old. It's a lot of work. So I put up there, and then a couple days later, I get a package, open it up, put it on the counter. She comes home. She goes, what is that? Why did you buy that? I'm like, I used my gift card. She's like, we're trying to rein in the spending, and you bought cookies. Like, yeah, I wanted them. She's like, we're not supposed to be doing this. I'm like, well, it's my gift card. I'm like, I don't buy books anymore. Books are sent to me or I go to the library. But this is what I got. I haven't had these since high school. Every day in junior high and high school, these were 35 cents each. And I would always $1.05, and I was always buy 3 packs of these. So there's 3 cookies in each one. I would buy these, and this is what I would have for lunch every day: 3 packs of Linden's chocolate chip cookies. I don't know if you had these in your school. I had them in junior high and in high school, and they were delicious. I ate them every single day, and then I just dropped them and probably broke all 3 cookies. Nick says, okay. Says, I see the occasional deer in my yard, but when I try and get close, they bolt in the trees, so it must be working. There you go. Frank says, and a MasterCard to be named later. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember when MasterCard was Master Charge. Pretty sure most of us are that old, except Nick Zan, who knows that despite being young. Nick probably knows it more than all of us, even though he's younger. Lorraine says, yes, pest control information from the internet can't be wrong. Chad remembers Master Charge. Now to see if these cookies hold up like the Warrior movie does for Keith. I don't remember them being this hard to open. What are you doing? Oh, I can smell it. Oh, I can smell it. Ah, yep, it broke. Mm-hmm. 9 of these a day, 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. You're not wrong, Frank. That takes me back to the little boy who thought he was Irish. Simpler times, much simpler times. Oh, that's some good stuff. And then you mix that chocolate you cook with some blueberry coffee. Super hot blueberry coffee. You can make more money on OnlyFans just eating food. You're not joking. My goal is as long as I can make more money on YouTube than AP Fuchs, I'm good. Take my old man pills, blueberry coffee. Oh, that's some good stuff right there. Charlie, good call. Good call, me going to get some coffee and staying on if that was you. Charlie does not remember Master Charge. Charlie is also very young. Some might say too young. Just bought another Colleen Hoover book. Who even am I, right? Make sure when you buy them, you tell her that I appreciate all of her emails. Why isn't that kid in school? Is it spring break or something? And these people are dressed like it is like they're extras in the thing. Like they are dressed for friggin' the North Pole. Frank, my bad, kid. You get there one day. Oh, I said you did what, Chad? Like I want to have another cookie, but now my stomach is roiling. I like saying that. My wife hates when I say that. Rand says, I don't even know you. Oh, wait, I don't. Yeah, you know Chad enough. It's a very shallow. Nick Zinn, another one? You can't wait for the movie? Finished a Hoover book, Reminders of Him, the other day and just bought Verity. Okay, I have to admit, I almost bought Verity. I have Confess. It's on my shelf. I'll probably never read it. At some point, my daughter's going to go, hey, can I have my book back? Chad says, I'll tell you if it has excusable infidelity in it, Lorraine. Lorraine says, think I'll watch the movie. Lorraine says, be sure to do that, Chad. Frank says, excusable infidelity? He obviously wasn't part of the conversation we had about this. And I'm just too tired to explain it all. What would that definition be exactly? Colleen Hoover writes she excuses the infidelity in her books. Yeah, Lorraine doesn't like Hoover because she treats cheating on your spouse like it's not a big deal. Exactly. Frank says Chad's lifestyle choices are none of your business. I remember the old Chad that used to come in back in the day over here, and all he would talk about was the new Lansdale book that he read. Now all he's talking about is the new Colleen Hoover book that he read. What's going on with this kid? I have a walk. I guess my wife has a walk. I need to use it, right? I think I would be good at walking things. Walk and roll. People are truly complex. You know what? You're right. I mean, Chaz seems to be very shallow, but otherwise, very complex. Yeah, he's about as shallow as the rest of us. Let's be honest. Chet says, I'm actually due for some Lansdale. It's been a while and I have a big shelf full. Nick says, walk, no. Air fryer, yes. Can you make really good Chinese food in an air fryer, though? I mean, maybe you can. I just like the whole wok thing, you know? You're like making food on a wok or on the hibachi out back. What if I put it in the wok, but then put it on top of the hibachi and made it? Would that make it even more authentic? Frank says, I haven't read Lansdale in forever. Ryan says, Lansdale? Frank says, I should read some Happen Leonard. Never read any. You know, I've read any Happen Leonard? Chad says, treat yourself to some, Frank. I'm assuming you've read The Drive-In. Chad says, Happen Leonard is fun. Agreed. So are these cookies. Charlie says, haven't read The Drive-In. Really like Happen Leonard and have read a bunch of short stories. Frank says, I read all the drive-ins and Bubba Hotep. Chad says, Lorraine, Joe R. Lansdale is a Texas author who mainly writes crime with a dash of humor, but he's also known for some earlier stuff that was outlandish horror. Lorraine says, thanks, Chad. I was really lost there for a bit. Yeah, he writes a lot of Texas-based things, which are very good. Apparently, they're doing a Firefly animated movie or series or something. I never saw Firefly. I think we've talked about this before, so don't jump all over me, Keith. I never saw it. There's one season of it. We get it. Yeah, new Firefly animated series is coming. I was the other day. I was like Sunday. I was looking for something to watch, and I was like, "Hey, maybe I'll watch X Files. Maybe I'll start this." Then I'm like, "Oh no, maybe I will watch baseball." Frank says, "Matter of fact, that's probably all the Lansdale I've consumed." Chad says, "Lansdale's wife started the Horror Writers Association. We can blame her." Alongside Robert McCammon and Dean Koontz. It's often said Lansdale is his own genre. I've said that myself. Keith says, "I'll find another reason to jump on you. Appreciate it." Well, Joe and his wife, but the whole thing was Joe's wife's idea. Yes, what Frank said. Which one of you guys is the big Koontz fan? Guilty as charged. Huge Koontz fan. Every time a new book comes out, I immediately read it and love it to varying degrees. I like the dog ones. And he doesn't do as many dog ones anymore, which is nice. Every now and then he throws a dog in just to have a pet. And another spam message. I never had a problem with the dog ones. But I was also reading whatever the latest was and an older one at the same time. So some of them, most of them, I never read like two dog books at once. I'm one third into the first dog one right now, and it's a struggle. Those cookies are so good. I mean, Chad, with the old saying, Dean Koontz, he's no Colleen Hoover. he did a clump of dog books. It felt like, oh yeah, he had like a good 10, 15-year period there where every book had a magic dog or an alien dog or a dog that saved the stranger coming into town to save the woman. Yeah, he had a definitely run of a formula of stuff. Chaz says, I've enjoyed his stuff, but I like him as a person too. Keeps his head down, has great work ethic, and doesn't want on Twitter about his political views. Yeah. I mean, his head, he has put his head down because he has so much hair on the top of it. Troy says, I read one where the dog was an alien that made people feel happy when it was around. The whole book was the government chasing the dog alien through the forest, which is about 3 of his books from back then. Chess says, that sounds like an 80s Spielberg movie, Charlie. Yeah, it does. Lorraine says, ditto. All right. Hmm. Oh. Also, looks like Crystal Lake is not going to be doing the Hotel Macabre Volume 3. Interesting. Why? Because anthologies don't make any money. I get it. Frank says, I'm reading some John DeChancy now, old school 80s sci fi. Chad, you never heard? I never heard of him either. For instance, was The Fly in the 80s or early 90s? Which version? Wasn't there like 30 versions of it? Felt like Superfly. Troy says the remake with Jeff Goldblum was in the 80s. The Vincent Price one was 50s, I think. Chet says, I feel like anthology would sell more if there weren't so many, and the ones they did put out were near impossible to get into, choosing the absolute best stories. For instance, I need to watch it again. I love reading anthologies to find new authors and stuff, but I understand they're not big sellers. They're never gonna be. Troy says we definitely need more anthologies with my story in the stories than the joke. Chet says we got to start getting into these crime anthologies. I am. I'm getting into them. And a lot more stories though. I got to pump out there. I was gonna say maybe later this afternoon, but I'll probably be napping then. Lorraine says anthologies. Where should I start? Recommendations? There's just so many. Charlie, you're in some anthologies, right? Amazon? Chen says, "Oh, you mean to read? I thought you meant to send your stories, Lorraine." Lorraine says, "Read, yeah. Haven't written a short story since high school." Troy says, "Yeah, there are a lot on there. Just read the description because Amazon doesn't understand the difference between a single author collection or a multi-author anthology. Neither do the authors. I see so many authors putting in the anthology category. I'm like, Moron, it's a collection. It's all your stories. It's a collection." Lauren says, "Evidently I use too many words." Chess, "I never read the anthos I'm in, so I don't know that I can recommend this." That's my problem too. If I'm in it, I don't read unless it's like a huge author or an author that I really, really like. Then I'll read it. Otherwise, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read this. Or he says, "Huh, really? Okay, Charlie." Yeah, I'm definitely going to go 2 more minutes and I'm out of here, people. The bathroom is calling. Oh, I don't know if you heard that, man. My stomach just went. And then it said, but before that, it said, I don't know what it said. "I will be back here tomorrow." I want to thank everybody for watching my videos, even if you're watching them in the videos in the background muted. I appreciate it. Less than 1,000 hours now, so I'm getting excited. Chaz, my favorite multi-author antho is from the 80s called Silver Scream, edited by David Show. Some huge names in it, but it's splatterpunk, and I don't think you'd like it. Yeah, Frank Ether, nice. All right, everybody, I will be back tomorrow. That should probably be on Thursday as well. Definitely Friday, Positive Friday. Other than that, we'll see. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Thanks for people who watch this after the fact. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not. And see you humping around tomorrow on Hump Day. I'll see what Chad did there. And all right. Now you have the rest of your afternoon to go listen to The Accused. Their greatest hits. Both of them. All right. I'm out of here.